Hey, Stewart's Chapel, this is Don Pierson, Don Counts, and I'm at the Fogg's home. We appreciate their hospitality. This is Tuesday's devotion. I want to, let's just start with the scripture today. We're in Exodus chapter 14, verse 10. Listen to what it says. And when Pharaoh drew near, the children of Israel lifted their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them. Now the Pharaoh has just released them after the 10 plagues. They are running for the promised land. Well, they're not really running, but they're trotting as fast as they can. But all of a sudden, Pharaoh decides he's going to come after them with his soldiers. So the Israelites were afraid, and the children of Israel cried out to the Lord. After that, they said to Moses, because there were no graves in Egypt, you have taken us away to die in the wilderness. Why have you so dealt with us, to bring us out of Egypt? Is this not the word that we told you in Egypt, saying, let us alone that we may serve the Egyptians? For it would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. Now listen to what Moses says. Moses said to the people, do not be afraid. Stand still and watch or see the salvation of the Lord, which he will accomplish for you today. For the Egyptians whom you see today, you shall see again no more forever. Now, verse 14 is the key verse for us. Listen to what he says. And this Moses still talking. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall close your mouth. You shall hold your peace. You shall be silent. In other words, he's telling them, you just need to shut your mouth and be quiet, and you will watch the Lord prevail. Early on, I learned that there are times when I just need to keep my mouth shut. Remember that hog barn that I told you about yesterday? Over and over again, I learned a lesson really well. Do not breathe. Do not breathe when I go in my cousin's and my uncle's barn. Now see, all of my uncles raised hogs, and I'm not talking about just a few. I mean, they had a big hog farm. They had tons of hogs. And if you open your mouth walking into there, the odds are there's two things that you would happen. One, you would get a good breath of stuff you didn't want to have to breathe. The other thing, it not only do hogs stink, hog barns in the summer are just covered up with flies. And I don't know how many flies I swallowed because I had my mouth open going into the barn. But you know what? That story came back to me in Belize, down in the southern part one night, because when you preach in the jungle and you use a lantern, you know what happens? Every bug in the jungle comes to that lantern, big bugs and little bugs. And when they would put the lantern right over the pulpit where I would stand and read my Bible, and there would just be tons of frogs. And I'm telling you, just about every time I preach, I would have to stop because I swallowed a bug. God is telling these people, you know what? You just need to keep your mouth shut and you need to watch. There's actually a key verse in Proverbs that says that as well. In Proverbs 11, verse 12, he who is devoid of wisdom despises his neighbor, but a man of understanding holds his peace. A man of understanding keeps his mouth shut. Now, in that text, he's talking directly about how you and I need to be very, very careful about how we talk in front of others and in behind closed doors about our neighbors and those around us. Now, we've all been guilty of that. You ever been guilty of having your mouth open when it should be shut? Yeah. There's times when actually I have finished a sermon and thought, man, I wish I didn't say that. Actually, I've even gone to Jake and Don after a sermon and say, you need to go back and edit that part out. They don't like that when I do that to them. The problem is Don Pierson, and in fact almost every Pierson and Raymond I know, has a curse. It's called the mouth. We're not real good at keeping it shut when we should. I bet some of you may have that same problem. Listen to the word. A wise man knows when to keep his mouth shut. Love you, Stewart's Chapel.